Hello, precious people. I'm Jacqueline Parks. Welcome to my studio, Stampin' Turtles. And today I'm double checking to make sure we go in live because I am running late. So I don't even know if I set this up right. I did it pretty quick. And so far I am not hearing me. Oh, there me is. There me is. That's good. That's good. I love it. Love it. Can I see? I can see myself. I can hear myself. All right. So today we're going to paint the empty tomb. I'm going to show you how to do realistic rocks and also a sunrise sky. Like there's a couple things in this video that are going to be maybe a little advanced, but you know what? We got to try new things in order to grow our skills and improve. So I hope you guys will join me today. I have so many different sizes right here. We can do a little one. We can do medium ones. We can do a little bigger, or we can do huge. Well, not huge, but 8 by 10. A lot of people have 8 by 10 frames, so maybe we'll do the 8 by 10. It is harder to fit it in the screen. Oh, if you didn't see me paint this last Wednesday, it's all about blue. All about the blue. Maybe I'll do this size. It's almost like a 5 by 7. So this is like your differences. Sometimes an 8 by 10 is good. Sometimes a 5 by 7. I might do the 5 by 7 just because we did start a little late. Sorry about that. I could not say no to my husband who brought me breakfast. And it was like literally maybe 8 minutes before going live. So of course I was like, I will eat the breakfast. So yeah, he comes first, y'all. Sorry. But that's the way it's supposed to be, right? In the world, your husband comes first. So let me see what we got here today. If you are in the chat, say hi, give me some love, little hearts and stuff like that, because I always enjoy seeing that. What is this? Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. All right, so you can see that. I also wanted to share something with you guys. Look what this cute little bunny in a basket, and he's so precious. So we just had this class yesterday at the studio in person. If you are local and you're an Alabamian in Baldwin County, then you can come to my classes in person. And usually it's on a Sunday. You can check my website, stampinturtles.com. In fact, next Sunday, March 8th, we're going to be doing this class live. So you can watch today and see how it's going. And you might be like, well, I need some more in-person type stuff so I can really get the most out of it. And I would highly, highly recommend that you come to the class in person. Because sometimes you do get more when it's one-on-one, and I try and do some one-on-one with y'all. So here we go. Oh, my little turtle, put you right there. He is like all kinds of blues in there. Although I need to find my cobalt blue. For some reason I cannot find my cobalt blue. Why? Why can I not find it? Look at all these different paints I have in my little, whatchamacallit here. I have turquoise, ultramarine. What is this one? I don't even know what this is. I don't know. Ultramarine deep. Interesting. Deep. Then shallow, deep, shallow. Who knows? Oh, credit cards are very important to use to make rocks. Maybe we'll do that today. Intense blue. No, I don't want no intense blue. I want cobalt blue. Ooh, what are you? Cerulean blue. That would probably work. Cerulean blue is good. What's this one? What's this one? Cerulean sky blue. You know what? Maybe we'll use this. But I don't know where my cobalt blue is. I guess I'm going to have to go to the store and purchase some more, right? Because you can't be without blue. You need blue, 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 blue. Anyways, let me know, y'all, where you're from today. Oh, can I not open this? Oh, there we go. So see, this color is very nice. I'm going to put it in the corner. Ooh, it's got some weird separation in there. I didn't know why. Why I got a weird separation. But actually, when we're doing this sky, guess what? We're going to be, I don't know what we're going to be doing. I feel like this is going to seal because it paints all around the rim. Make it difficult to open. Anyways, okay. I'm going to use this. I'm going to use flat, big. I'm going to use some littles. Might use my rigger. Might use my pencil. Yeah, those look like they're good assortment. I am using Canson XL paper, so it's not. Oh, hey, Linda. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for joining. Love you, babe. I miss you. We got to get together and do something fun. All right, so this is basically what I'm using today. But you can use what you got. If you don't have this, you can use what you got. But yeah, making a realistic sky. Let me see if we can do this. So it's a heel coming down. There's gonna be a tomb. Tombs, I guess, have these square openings, but around stone, right? So, and this one's gonna be a little different than what the thumbnail had. That's okay though. We're gonna put some crosses up here. Also, I had a tree and a little path, but I don't know if that's what I'm gonna end up doing. Oops. I want to put trees right there, maybe. Or maybe just some more rocks. More rocks, maybe. In the foreground here, instead of trees. All right, you can't even see what I drew. Oh, hi, Josh. Thank you for joining and commenting. I love it because I know sometimes you guys watch it on the TV, so it's harder to actually comment. All right, so I have my not clean water that we're gonna wet the sky with. And so you might be like, well, should it be clean? You can start off with clean. It's nothing wrong, but look at how, even with these little floaty particles in my water, it's not too bad. Not too bad. All right, so I've got the sky kind of wet. You can see it's shiny. That's what we do to make it kind of shiny. And I'm going to put some blue in here. And see, I'm just very gently putting this blue, okay? The thing is we're going to have some yellow. And we don't want the yellow and blue to mix too much. We want it to be kind of separate. Where did my clean water go? There you go. Normally I have this in front of me, and that's why I'm losing it. All right, so now we're going to do some yellow in the sky. See, that's too green in my opinion. Let's try this. Oh, I like this better. I like this better. And see how I'm trying not to put it all, well, it's real hard to see because it's so pale, but this is going to be gorgeous in person. The floaties. Oh, in the in the water, yes. I don't know what it is. It could be dust. Well, it's definitely paint. All right, so now we're going to let this sky kind of sit for a minute. And sometimes you can tilt if you want. So So sometimes people like to tilt their paper and see what happens. But I'll just leave it flat for now. And I may end up putting some more blue sky over here. And maybe just a little bit in there. And I'm not even looking at a reference photo, which is so crazy because I know sometimes I give you guys a reference photo. I don't know if I can do that once I've already started a live. We can try it and see what happens. Image. Sometimes it won't. If it's not on my desktop, then we can't find it. Oh, it is on my desktop. Very good, very good. So yeah, I'm going to show you the reference. Well, it's my painting. My painting is the reference. And I think I used Payne's Gray instead of blue for the sky. Probably did a better job first time around, but that's okay. That's okay, that's okay. So let me show you. This is what I painted. And like I said, I did more trees in this one. But I am going to try and duplicate that now. So let me get a different brush because this was great. This large brush was great for a minute, but now we're going to use one with a point, a round brush. And we're going to dip it in the Payne's Gray just for a minute. And I don't know what is all yucky on there. So now I'm going to put some Payne's Gray just to make it look more like clouds maybe. And you might be like, ooh, that does look pretty. Yeah, sometimes you add that Payne's Gray in there and it just looks great. And really, we want to accentuate the sunrise. So now I'm going to rinse this. So sometimes you put on a lot of paint and you don't like it, you can always lift it. See how I'm lifting? See that? So sometimes your mistakes are okay. But sometimes we do like when we use some bold colors and do something that makes it look more interesting. Okay, so now I got that going. All right. And if you really want a bright spot, just lift it with a clean, dry brush. So you can do that. Sometimes if you have not so great paper, it will make it tear a little bit. Might even do some rays coming out. What do you think? Some rays? That might be fun. Put a couple rays. Ooh, I kind of like that. That does look really pretty. That does. And I can even like hold it at an angle this way and see what happens. It's almost like the clouds are falling down. It's kind of pretty. I really like this one. I can't ever do it the same twice. You know what I'm saying? Oh, thank you, Linda, saying that's beautiful. I could do a little more lifting just to get some highlights, like some cloud. That's kind of pretty there. So yeah, Payne's Gray. I probably should have did that instead of that blue. That's all right. Okay, so now we're gonna look at down here because if we try and paint up here, it's going to bleed into the sky because wet next to wet is just gonna mix. So you gotta find an area that's not gonna be so next to another part that you're painting already. So now this is gonna be some stonework here. Oh, and I just touched that sky a little bit. Oops. Oops. It's bleeding the blue down. See that? This is why you have to listen more than do what I do. But I'll show you kind of what's happening. So you know, I did touch the sky and it's got just a little bit of that blue sky coming down. But what I do to fix that is just lift it up with my brush and dry it. Lift, lift, and at some point it will stop. Lift, which might be good because I can add these little highlights now to the top of this tomb. Oops. Oops, there's blue on my towelette. Okay. Don't worry, this is going to look beautiful at the end. Sometimes it just takes a minute to get there. All right, there. Kind of lightening that a little bit just because. All right, now I'm going to mix up some green for this hillside. And then when I mix up my green, I use sap green and I put a little bit of alizarin crimson into the green because that's what makes it more sage green, okay? So this red right next to my green is alizarin crimson, I believe. And see how I mix that in and it just darkens my green. And so that makes it kind of cool. And we're just going to go. And I'm trying to avoid touching that sky again because we don't want to repeat what happened to the tomb where it all is bleeding all over the place. And that's okay. Maybe we like that. And I might lift up the path, the pathway. So I know this is not dark yet, and because we're on layer 1, when you're watercoloring, you have lots of different layers to your watercolor. At least I do. I'm sure there's people out there who can create their darks and everything on their first go, but for me personally, this is the way I work, and I like doing it like this. So I do lots of different layers. So now I'm going to mix up another little bit of this kind of brown with a little Payne's gray. So I have burnt sienna, burnt umber, so I use both. I use both browns. And I use a little bit of Payne's gray in there. And I mix that all together. And then that's kind of a darker color. So I can make these rocks right here. I might make some parts here a little darker. Stonework. And then these rocks are also a little darker. And see, I'm just doing a little bit here and there. And I might show you guys the credit card technique where you scrape, if I can be bold. If I can be bold. Or if you don't have a credit card and you have one of these Pampered Chef scrapers, keep one of these on hand. Let me see if we can do a close-up. And you can kind of see maybe if I do it right. See how I'm just scraping a little bit here and there? So that's supposed to look like real rocks. Might try a little bit over here. And the problem sometimes is that I'm not good at practicing this, so I'm not as wonderful at it that I could be. But with practice, I could be really good at it, right? And see how it's kind of making these lines. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but I am scraping and pushing. So see how that's kind of cool. I like the texture. So that's what I'm trying to get, is a texture in there. And I may end up doing a little extra Payne's Gray mixed in and just dabbing it at the bottom here. Just playing in there. And then maybe a little bit of this burnt sienna and burnt umber mixed together. I like mixing the two and seeing how that looks. See how I'm just dropping it in with this stuff? And it just makes it look kind of pretty. Pretty and unique. So you can do a lot with the these scrapes and stuff. The one thing about that rock formation, I do want to get a little bit of yellow started because I want there to be kind of a highlight for that. And this is going to have a highlight. Now, if your paint's not moving, it's because you don't have water. You need water to make the paint move. See how that makes the paint move? Yeah, it's so much better. We're just going to make this kind of yellow up here because it's just kind of pretty how it's looking. So there we go. So now I've got kind of partially made the tomb. This is going to be the stone that's being rolled away. So I am kind of preserving a highlight on top. You can even lift and make this a little bit lighter. Keep dabbing that there. So that's looking really, really good. If you want to zoom back out, you can see how it looks. But yeah, I'm liking that. And then of course, if you wanted to see, this is my inspiration. So it may or may not look the same. That's okay. It's going to look a little different every time I do it. I might put some yellow in here. So let me use a smaller brush. See the small one? Get nice and just add some little bit of yellow in there. It's okay if it blends. Sometimes we like to blend. Sometimes we just let the Holy Spirit move our fingers and our hands and everything. Because that's how I kind of roll a lot of times. So now this is kind of dry. I may go in here with like a little pathway. And if I'm not happy with it, I can always change it up. But I kind of like how I'm going to make this go over here. And see how I'm just kind of spreading that around? It's just going. It's going where it wants to go. Now, is this going to be too dark? I can dab it. I can dab it. I don't know. I can dab it. I can make it a little darker. I can make it a little lighter. I am really liking how this texture looks right here. That's just like scrapey tool. Get a little scrapey tool. A little something to make your rocks look great. So now this tombstone, I think I'm gonna leave it for last. Y'all hear the craziness happening out there? I don't know if you guys can hear it. It is loud. I did tell them I'm going live. But my stepson, he is doing virtual school now, so it is kind of cool. He can go to school and take tests there, but mostly he just works from home on his schoolwork. So I'm gonna do this real quick. Hold on. All right, so that's the inside of the tomb. It's not done yet. Oh, thank you, Linda. She said it looks amazing. So yeah, I think that it's gonna be there. It's not there yet, but that's the thing about watercolor. You gotta be patient and let it take time to form. I do enjoy the process. I really do enjoy this. I feel like all these rocks are perfect. Like I don't even want to touch them anymore. I feel like they're great. The green, I might need to make a little darker just because it's so pale. And so I'm adding a little bit of red to that sap green just to mix it in and make it a little darker. You know, some people are like, why don't you use black to darken your colors? And with watercolor, they do come with a black in the palette and a white, but I encourage my students to explore how to mix without using them. So I know that might seem kind of crazy. It's like you've got those two colors, why wouldn't you use them? And basically the reason I don't is because when I was in school and I was in art school and I was learning how to create, it was very shunned upon to use black and to use white, and that was with acrylic and oils too. So it just kind of, you know, made me feel like they're not that great to be using. Now I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna put a little bit of yellow just in certain spots on the hillside, maybe where you think there would be a little bit of sun. Just a little bit. You don't have to use a lot of yellow in that green. So it's just a little bit and it's pretty. I like how these clouds are kind of coming towards, like it's like Jesus is breaking free from the clouds. Like I love that. That looks so cool. I tried to do it with this one, having the sunlight coming through the clouds and stuff. And I really feel like this one is very subtle. But this one I think is going to be even more dramatic, possibly. So I'm going to do some more dark in this one because I think it's dried enough. And that's why I'm using this little tiny brush. So I can get in there and do this. And so I am trying to make the darkest dark up there and the lighter area down at the bottom so that it's kind of realistic. You know what I'm saying? Now here's a trick. Let's see if I can zoom you in. Super zoomy zoom. Let me see. Zoomy zoom. Because what we got right now is not as zoomy zoom as I would love. Let's see what happens. So watch what happens. I'm going to get some water on my brush. So I just dip my tip of my brush. I'm not going to dry it. I'm going to just drop it. I don't know if you can see what it's doing. Hopefully you can see what it's doing. I love it, actually. It's so pretty. It's doing it. It's doing its thing. So that is how you get backgrounds and blooms. You just drop some clean water into dark paint and look what it's doing. It's pushing the pigment of this darker color away. So the drop I put right in this corner, right? So it's kind of making it look like there's, it's darker deeper into the tomb and lighter right there. So I like that. I like that a lot. Very, very good. Very, very good. All right, now let's go back to this little pathway that I did. And I'm going to make like a little shadow right here. Let me see if I can go not as zoomed in. Zoomed in still, but not as zoomed. Hold on. is very, very. Oh, there we go. So you can see the whole painting. There's the whole painting. So now I mixed up a kind of darker brown with that Payne's gray, and so what I'm doing is I'm adding a shadow on one side, right? We're just doing one side. I don't know where I'm doing this. It's fun to try to experiment. But see, I'm trying to do a shadow. And you can add shadows into here. There you go. So I'm liking that. This is a little standing out weird right there. I might just blend it into this area for now. Might need some shadow right here. There we go. That's looking good. And now, where else do we want to put some shadow? I usually like to put a little blue for my shadow. I don't know if I'm going to do that this time. Let's see what happens. Yeah, that looks okay. And maybe on this little road, a little bit of blue. You know, sometimes our shadows just look better when they're blue. I don't know why that is. Just looks a little better. A little more realistic. Okay, so now we're going to focus on the sky is dry. I could do the crosses in there right now. So maybe that's what I'll do. I did do a little research this morning on some empty tomb paintings. Y'all, there's not a lot of empty tomb watercolor tutorials online, which I find very strange, but it's okay. I'm gonna try and fill in that gap that's missing. So sometimes this is the nerve-wracking part, right? Because we have to kind of be exact. Oh, I love it. Love it, love it. All right, it is a brown. We might end up putting a little bit of Payne's gray into those crosses just to make them seem a little bit darker. Or maybe that one on the left, make that one just a little bit darker, like a little, but I have to wait till it dries. You cannot layer on top of wet paint. You got to wait for it to dry. All right, this is turning out pretty nice. I'm liking it. So in my palette, I do have this gray. Let me show you if I can show you. If I can show you. So this is like a gray color, but it's more taupe and it's very opaque, okay? So I'm going to mix it with the Payne's gray and gray, right? But I think it's dark. So we're just gonna water that down. Lots of water. That's how you get something lighter. You don't add white, you add water for watercolor. And that will make it nice but look at that pretty gray. That's a nice gray, actually. I'm gonna be super careful going right here because that's wet. And if I touch it, it will go whoosh. Sometimes that's kind of nice though. See how it's spreading right there? So it's okay because this is like a darker side anyway. So if that spreads in there, it's going to be kind of like a happy accident, right? So I kind of like those happy accidents, but if we want to make it darker on purpose, we can add some Payne's Gray into the bottom here. And that just gives it a little bit of a roundness to it. I'm liking it, and it's trying to be kind of round. Let's see if I can push it around. Push it around. And we just push. So now we got to let that dry, because if we try and touch it now, it's going to just keep doing nothing. That's what happens when you have wet on wet, and it just doesn't do much. So now I'm going to add some darks into this to make that stand out a little bit. I like to make things a little bit more. Oh, Linda Ball says I like it too. Thank you. So yeah, this is great. So far so good. I'm enjoying putting down some paint, and that's another thing that I've been trying to just instill in people, is that watercolor is fun. Watercolor is easy. I'm gonna do some splattering, so because I think this little, oops, we didn't want splatters right by there, so I'm going to erase those real quick before they take root. That's how we should feel about sin. Get rid of sin before it takes root. Trying to get rid of that little mark. There you go. So that's how you erase if you get stuff all over the place. But I'm not going to do that again, because sometimes it's hard to control. And if you have a hard time controlling or you splatter, just do what I'm doing now. Put a little paper towel over it, and that way it won't be so all over the sky, right? We don't want it all over the sky. All right, so now we got to do that and just erase those. So now I've got all these little dots for the road, and they look great right where they're at. Let's see what else I'm gonna do on here while I wait for this to dry. I could dry it with my heat tool. That might be what I do. If it starts to curl like this, you can always turn it upside down and heat the back of it, and it flattens back out. Like magic. I don't know why it works that way, but it does. All right, so now I can show you this bloom that we did inside the tomb. Look at that. So cool. And that's like the magic of watercolor. We love it. All right, now I'm going to add some darker areas on the bottom of this, but I want to add a little bit of brown, just a little bit. I'm trying to keep the shape of this stone in mind as we're doing it. But I think it needs thicker paint. Sometimes if your paint isn't doing anything and you just put another layer on, it's not doing what you want, make your paint a little thicker. Look at that. That's cool right there. I'm liking how that looks. I might add a little bit of some shadow in there, just to make it look like it's blending in, right? We don't want it to not blend in. So making that dark is great. We like some contrast. If your painting has all the same, it's gonna look kind of strange and not be as aesthetically pleasing. So see how dark I'm making that? Also just depositing a little bit darker in here. So we like shadow, right? That's what we like. So I think I'll just kind of smooth this out a little bit with just the tip of my brush. Yeah. But I like that shadow in there. I think that makes it look really great. What else we gotta do? I feel like this mountainside needs a little bit more green, so we're gonna do layer of, let's show you what I'm doing. See how I'm mixing my green in this section right here. I'm gonna add some red. I don't know why I've got dust in here. Like, there should not be dust. No dust. So keep adding red. See what happens when I keep adding red? It just gets darker and darker and darker. So we now have a nice dark green. And I like that because we're just going to skim it. And sometimes I mess it up. We'll see what happens. Like that, the side of the brush you can use as the dry brush technique, and it skims across. And there's all kinds of noises out here, y'all. So many noises. Let's see what happens if we do that over here. And I just like it a little darker now, I think. Maybe. I think that looks good. Everything I think is starting to look great on this. I could add some shadows into here. Do some shadowing in there. Stay still, paper. It might add a little highlight of yellow. Just up there. But I do like this yellow better. Let's put that yellow back in there. And that is our sunlight. Put a little bit there and a little bit here. And then I'm going to wiggle my brush, just a clean brush right here, just to get that highlight going. There we go. Like that. This might need, put a little yellow in there. Make that stand out a little bit. And look at that. It's looking good. That's looking real good. Okay. Might need just a little bit of a shadow in there. And go around that just a little bit. Make it stand out a little more. So I'm liking how that looks. And these rocks. And you can even get crazy and start doing some more down here. Splatters, whatever you want to do. Can get Some more grays up in there. That looks good. I add just a little bit about the door. That looks good. I think that's looking good. And I wanted to go back to those crosses. Let's see if we can zoom you in so you can see what I'm doing. Is that the same one? It probably is. All right, let's see what we got here. I am going to mix up the brown with the Payne's gray and see how that looks. All right, very tiny brush, tiny point. Now, some people do some pen work and they can make it look I'm sorry, I'm concentrating. Concentrating. There. I like that. It's a little darker on those two side crosses. I really like that. I think it looks so good. Now I might add just a little bit on this road. Might have went too dark there. Just smear it back out. There you go. And now we've got this framed and it looks pretty good. Could probably go darker on this guy right over here, but I think it's gonna be, I think it's done. I think this is a done painting. And I did this pretty quick because I started late, so I think I started like 10:15. My paper towel is saturated. Like I could probably squeeze water out of this if I squeezed it. That's how much I used my paper towels. So if you're not using paper towels, why? Why are you not using your paper towels? I don't know. I almost feel like my shadows are a little darker than these rocks. So I might just put a little bit more of the same color into the rocks and see what happens. See what happens. Ooh, I like how now I got some little rocks that have highlights. So I like that. I like that. I think it looks good. And I was going to do a couple of ACEOs, which are 2.5 by 3.5, but I didn't actually cut any that size. I think that's what this is. But I also have these wonderful little, they're 4 pressed flowers, really, but I put a painting in them. See if I can open one. So I could put, if I had something cut down to size, that's too big. I mean, too small. I think, like, these are my Mardi Gras ones. I think they were cut to fit in there, but I may do some St. Patrick's Day ACEOs. If you're not following me on TikTok, I do post some other videos on there. Of course, every Wednesday I try to post a Watercolor Wednesday Wisdom. And so that just kind of helps people to learn tips and tricks about watercolor. But this would be a great little frame for, because gold's really in, for the empty tomb. If I paint one of these kind of smaller and cut it down in here, that would look really nice to frame it, you know, in there. But right now this piece is too big. But I could see this being a little smaller and put in there. I think that would be good. So I'm going to try and do some more. This size is actually going to be a nice size. I really like this. I think it's going to look great in a frame. 5x7 frame. Maybe an 8x10 frame with a mat to 5x7. That might look really good. And so then all I need to do is sign it. And it's good to go. Sometimes I put a scripture on my paintings, but I haven't been doing that as much lately. But who knows, maybe I should do that for this one. Let's see, what am I gonna do as scripture today, y'all? Because I try and you know, 2 Thessalonians 2:16 and 17 is what I'm seeing right here. So let's see if I can. Hello. Let's see if we can read this one. It's a little bit long, but I'll unpack it at the end, kind of summarize. But 2 Thessalonians 2:16 and 17, it says, may our Lord Jesus Christ himself and God our Father, who has loved us and given us everlasting comfort and hope, which we don't deserve, comfort your heart with all comfort and help you in every good thing you say and do. That is a good reminder, because he didn't just die on the cross for nothing. He came to give us everlasting life. And when we think about that eternity that we have waiting, you know, this life can be tough, full of trials, full of hardships, but the comfort that Jesus dying on the cross and raising from the dead gives us is that we know where we're going. So this may be a tough battle sometimes for us daily. If you have depression, if you have anxiety, or if you just have a lot of things happening to you one after the other, that maybe you're feeling your hope draining away. But let's not lose hope, because we have the cross, right? We have the cross and the empty tomb. The reason it's an empty tomb is because he rose from the dead. He defeated death. Jesus did. And so we know we don't have to fear death. We can be like, you know, when I die, I go to heaven, right? So we don't need to worry. We don't need to be concerned when we put our faith in what Jesus did on the cross. So that, I hope, has given you comfort today. If you have enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. Hit that little notification. I try and go live on Mondays at 10 a.m. Why? Because don't we want to look forward to Mondays? Sometimes there's nothing to really look forward to if we start a new work week or a new school week or whatever. Sometimes Mondays are hard to get out of bed, hard to do whatever we need to do. But I think that it's good to have something to look forward to. And I look forward to painting with y'all. I enjoy doing this. So hope y'all have a blessed day. I'm going to say bye before my husband gets over to the door with whatever he's making noise with. But I love him and appreciate him. Anyways, I love and appreciate you guys. And I hope you have a blessed day.